Hey guys, what's going on? It's RC Knockout and I'm back with another video. Now in this video, I said in my channel trailer that I wanted to show videos of my Jeep, so I thought, why not go ahead and do a walk around of my Jeep and show you guys some of the upgrades I've already done to it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and walk around it and try to remember off the top of my head all the upgrades I've done to it, which is quite a bit in the last few years that I've owned it. So let me grab the camera and I'll take you around it. Alright guys, so now that I got the camera, taking a closer look at this Jeep. Like I was saying, it's a 2014 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon model, 4-door Unlimited. It has a SMITTYBILT XRC front bumper, so this is kind of a mid-width. It's a mid-width front bumper, so it's not quite as it's not a stubby front bumper, but nor is it like a wide front bumper that covers up the tires either. So I really like the look of it. Steel bumper, I know it weighs a ton, it weighs like 130 pounds, so super heavy duty bumper. Has this little fair lead where I also have my SMITTYBILT winch mounted. So this right here is a 9,500 pound XRC winch from SMITTYBILT. I've had to use it a few times to pull myself out, so it just has a little plug-in right here that you can plug the little controller into. And then here's the clutch right here to engage it, disengage it. And yeah, so I got some D-rings on the front, which have also come in handy. Now on these tabs on the top of the bumper, I have these Rigid Industry lights. So these are Rigid Industry, some sort of LED cube lights. I'm not sure. They were actually on it when I bought the Jeep. But I know Rigid is a really good brand. So have these on, put out a decent amount of light. They're really nice. Now for headlights, I have these JW speaker. I think they're Evolution J2 speakers, so they were pretty expensive, but I mean, they put out a ton of light. I mean, the stock headlights on our Jeep Wrangler are horrible. I mean, they're just like candle lights, so bad. So I got these JW speaker ones, put out a ton more light, really happy with them, and they are LED, of course. I think on the front, let's see, I have these Drake hood latches. So stock, this would have just had some rubber hood latches. These were actually on it as well when I bought the Jeep, but I really like the look of these Drake hood latches. And it keeps the hood from fluttering when you're driving down the highway. Now, for fenders, I have these BUSHWACKER aluminum flat fenders. So they're pretty heavy duty, powder coated aluminum. They have some brackets in here. There's some bracketry up in here that helps hold it to the actual subframe, or the inner part of the body. So the thing's not just bolted down to the existing holes that the stock plastic bumpers would have been on. So it mounts a lot better than that. There's also, I don't know if you can see that, there's one right here as well. That is also a mount that helps, if you hit something, it helps distribute that weight of that. So I could actually sit on these. I could sit on these fenders no problem, and it wouldn't bend the body or the sheet metal out at all. I also have these nice little LED, I don't know if these are parking lights or what type of lights these are, but I think they're just daytime running lights that are on the side, marker lights or whatever you call them. Now for suspension lift, I have a 3.5-inch Rubicon Express suspension lift. And quite a few things have been changed out, because that was on it when I bought the Jeep, but I wanted to change a few things out. I got these nice, let's see, these are TERAFLEX speed bump stops. So I had to go in there, do a little bit of cutting. Also has a little bracket to help reinforce it, so I had to drill some holes and put a mount that helps hold that in place to help support that. So that's a nice little, I think it's nitrogen infused polyurethane, so it's much better than the stock bump stop that was on this. And one of the more recent upgrades I've done is I got these Fox shocks. These are 2.0. The front ones are low speed compression adjustable, so I can just flick that clicker right there on the top, that little blue clicker, and there's 8 different presets of adjustment. I think I have them set at 4 on both of them right now. So they ride pretty good. So they're a smooth body 2.0 shock, and comes with a nice little reservoir. And I think, let's see, I have these aftermarket, these are aftermarket lower control arms. I'm trying to remember, I think they are, geez, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. I want to say these are SUPERLIFT. I think the brand is SUPERLIFT, and they have a nice little flexible it's still some sort of polyurethane joint, but it has a nice flexible joint, so I get more articulation out of this. But the upper arms are still the stock arms on this, on the front and the rear. But the rear arms, those front arms are non-adjustable, those lower control arms, but they're longer, so they help compensate for the higher lift. So when you lift your Jeep up, the geometry gets out of whack. And these, I think, are roughly 3/4 of an inch longer than the stock one, so it helps to readjust the placement of the tire in the wheel well. So it helps push it forward. And the rear ones are adjustable. Now for wheels and tires, I have these Fuel ANZA wheels. They are 17-inch imitation beadlock, so they're black with this nice little graphite gray beadlock ring. And for tires, these are basically a metric equivalent of a 35-inch tire. They are 315/70/17 Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax tires. Pretty decent tire. I think they're more of an all-terrain. They're kind of a mix between an all-terrain and mud terrain. I don't think they're a true mud terrain. They got a nice tread pattern. They have nice beefy side lugs. That's the thing I like about them. The side lugs are nice and beefy. I've aired them down quite a few times. They get decent traction, but I do ultimately want to switch to a true mud terrain going forward. Now for inner fenders, I have these Prestige inner fenders, and they are aluminum one. And you can see right here, there's some curling that happened to it because I actually hit my sway bar link right here, my upper sway bar link. But when it was flexing, I put these, let's see, when did I put these on? I put these sway bar link extensions on. So right there at the bottom, that's where the sway bar link would have originally mounted, about 2 inches lower. And with the sway bar link extension, it mounted up about 2 inches higher. It just helps because of the lift and everything. And the problem is I didn't test this out until I actually was off-roading, and I didn't notice that on the up travel, the top of the link was actually hitting my inner fender. So I ended up, it got kind of messed up, and then I kind of bent it inward so it's out of the way for any up travel. So let's see what else we got. I have a ARB heavy duty differential cover. That's some sort of nodular cast iron, super heavy duty. Actually supposed to help make the axle more structurally rigid because of the way that it's designed. It actually helps support the axle. It makes the axle actually stronger. So it's actually more like a structural piece than just a cast iron plate that covers up the differential. So now right there on the front also, I just recently put that on. I put on this Fox, let's see, ATS steering stabilizer. So the shaft goes right through it. And that's a really nice little stabilizer I got there. I think it looks super cool. It looks super, I don't know, racy like. But yeah, I don't have any complaints there. I was running a rough country dual steering stabilizer setup, which was okay, but I decided to switch it out, go with the Fox brand. Really like the look of it, like the way it performs. Now right there also I have an aftermarket tie rod that I put on. So this right here is a Barnes 4-wheel drive aluminum tie rod. So it's 70/75 aluminum. It has GM 1-ton rod ends on both ends. So super beefy. I did have to drill through my knuckles on both sides, right up in there. I had to drill them out and put a taper in order for these knuckles to accommodate those larger tie rod ends, because normally this has, I don't know what size tie rod ends, but these are GM 1-tons, so way thicker. And this is a 1 5/8 inch tie rod, I believe, so it's slightly larger than the stock tie rod as well. And that's super nice because if you ever hit a rock or anything, it actually can bend and it'll retain its shape. So it'll kind of bend and kind of go back to its original shape, unlike a steel one, which you'll just bend it and it'll stay like that. So where I live, though, I'm not really bashing up against rocks, but I thought it was a nice upgrade and it looks really nice. So, and let's see, up under here also I have a drag link. Let's see, this right here is a STEERSMARTS YETI XD drag link, and it also has a Griffin attenuator on it, which the attenuator just helps to soak up any bumps you might feel through the steering. So it's almost like another stabilizer for your steering, so you don't get any of that negative feedback through your steering wheel. So that works really nice too. Super heavy duty. I did not have to drill out the knuckle for this, but that is a 1 ton, I think, or a 1.5 ton rod end. So even though I didn't have to drill out the top of the knuckle to accommodate that. And the other nice thing about this also, I forgot to say, is this actually flips the drag link above the knuckle. So the stock drag link on a Jeep Wrangler would sit below the knuckle, right there where the nut, I don't know if you can see that, right there where the castle nut is. That's where it would mount underneath. So it mounts a good 2.5, 3 inches higher on top of it. So that's a really nice thing, and that's the main reason I got it. And then I just decided to go with the attenuator. Sounded like it was nice. I don't have any complaints there. Now right up here underneath, if you can see this right here, that right there is where my electronic sway bar disconnect used to be. But right when I got this Jeep, it did not work, and it's like a $1,500 piece. So rather than doing that, I got this Evo Power Sports, or Evo, I don't know if it's Evolution Power Sports, but it's just a knob that you turn in and out, and it disconnects and connects your sway bar, and it's pretty easy to reach up underneath of my bumper and get to. So I don't think there's anything else under here. I guess I do have an aftermarket track bar. That's I don't know if you can see that, but that is a Rough Country forged track bar. So super heavy duty track bar as well. And let's see now for rock sliders. These right here are EAG. I think it stands for E-Auto Grills. I mainly just bought them because I like the way that they hug the body. So I really like the way that they're really close and snug to the body, because I didn't really want a step. I didn't want one of those sliders that was like a step, because those hang down and they catch on stuff, and that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something that'd give me a little bit more protection than the stock Rubicon rock sliders, but also that had a nice clean look and really hugged the body, which fortunately this does. And I don't have any complaints there. A little bit of the powder coating starting to come off, but I've had them on a few years. I can't really say any experience on rocks because I never take this on rocks, so can't really give you a review or my feedback on how it does against rocks and stuff, but it's held up pretty well just against the elements. And let's see, up underneath it here, I don't know if you can maybe just see the glimmer of that. That right there is a, I think that's a Rugged Ridge engine and transmission skid plate. So that right there, there's some mounts that go up and mount on the motor mount on both sides, and that comes down and it helps just protect the oil pan, and it slides all the way underneath, and it helps. Let's see if I can get a better look at it. I don't know if you can see that right there, and it has a little access hole. I don't know if you can see that on there. I can't really see. It has an access where you can actually get to your oil plug, your drain plug, but it doesn't really drain well. It drains all over the pan anyway, so it gets all over your skid plate anyhow. And then it just has the stock Rubicon transfer case skid plate, and this would be a stock gas tank skid plate. Now excuse how gross it looks under here. A few weeks ago I put this fluid film stuff on. It's some sort of temporary coating that's supposed to help protect your vehicle, like against rust and corrosion. Also supposed to help anytime you get mud and stuff on your Jeep, it's supposed to help the stuff come off a lot easier when you're washing it, but the stuff's really nasty. It's gotten super gunky. It's like super thick WD-40 looking stuff. It's really gross. I haven't enjoyed getting up underneath this thing to work on it in the last few weeks. Now, same as the front, I have these Prestige inner fenders. So, don't really have any complaints there. They don't fit perfectly well. I mean, the fitment could be a little bit better. So, that's a bit of a tough break, but yeah, nonetheless, they look good. They're black, but yeah, they're super dirty. That fluid film, unfortunately, that gets a nice coating of dirt and dust all over it, and so that's originally, that's a black inner fender, same as the front. So matching the front. Also matching the front, I have the Bushwacker aluminum flat fenders on the back as well, which also have the brackets, like right here, that's a bracket. And there's another bracket back behind there. You can't see it, super dark, I'm in the light. But there's another bracket back behind there that helps tie this into the inner structure of the body. Now on the back right here, this is an EAG rear bumper. So same brand as those rock sliders are, but this is a nice little Let's see if I can get the lighting down better. I'm not happy with how the lighting's been on this video, so I apologize for any inconsistencies in the lighting and shadows. I'm kind of in the best spot I could find. But yeah, EAG rear bumper, has a built-in tire carrier. Just push this button and releases that and it swings open. I got a nice full-size spare on here, but the full-size spare is actually a different brand. It's a Bfgoodrich KM3. This is essentially what I would like to switch to in the future on the rest of my wheels and tires, or on the rest of my tires would be these KM3 mud terrain tires. So, and we'll see. I mean, my plan is to stick with this metric version of a 35, but part of me also wants to go to a 37. But unfortunately, found out after buying my Jeep, I thought that all Jeep Wrangler Rubicons had 410 gearing in the front and rear axles, but unfortunately mine is an early production 2014, and I looked at the code on the axles, and they are unfortunately a 373 gear. So I do in fact have locking front and rear differentials, but the gearing in these axles unfortunately is a 373, which makes me really not want to go to a 37-inch tire, because that's really pushing it. I know people running 410 gears and running a 37, that's kind of pushing it. Some people can daily that, because this is my daily driver, but I also hear some complaints about that. So I don't think there's any chance I'm going to go up to a 37, at least not running this gearing. If I somehow can afford going up to a 488 in the future, then I definitely would probably go up to a 37. But same as the front, I have an ARB rear differential cover, same cast iron nodular cover. Also, I'm also running the Fox 2.0 reservoir shocks in the back, but these ones are non-adjustable. I decided to go with the non-adjustable in the back because I got a really good deal on them, and they're not the most convenient to get up underneath it there and adjust them anyhow. So the front ones are super easy access. The rear ones are a little bit more of a pain to get up underneath and adjust. So I thought for ease of use, I may as well just go with the non-adjustable 2.0s in the back. So, and like I said, I also have a full-size matching fuel wheel in the back as well. And got a third brake light extension. I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's anything else really going on, guys. That might be the gist of what's going on with this Jeep. Oh, I do have aftermarket drive shafts. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but that is a drive shaft, direct drive shaft. The stock drive shafts on Jeeps suck, especially the front ones, because the pinion angle's all out of whack. Especially once you start lifting the Jeeps. Mine was, the CV was clicking like crazy when I got the Jeep, so I immediately upgraded to these aftermarket drive shaft, direct drive shafts. So they're 1310 drive shafts, 1310 joints, and just a much better drive shaft than the ones that were on it. Also have these nice little grab handles inside. And I think inside, other than that, there isn't a whole lot else going on. I did put a navigation in. It didn't come with this navigation. This is out of it's one I got on eBay. It is a stock one. Like, I mean, this came out of a Jeep Wrangler, but didn't come standard in mine. So it has navigation. It's automatic. Has the 4 high, 4 low. Has traction control down there. I got heated seats, which, they don't really work all that great, to be honest with you. Got hill descent control. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else. I'm sorry if I'm trying to cover up this with my hand. I do have leather seats that have the Rubicon stitching on them, which is really nice. And I have the seats down in the back right now. Oh yeah, I do have I have some of my RCs in the back. I apologize for that. But I have the seats down because I have carrying some of my RCs around. Have a little fire extinguisher mounted on the back of the roll cage right back there, as well as a high lift jack that's mounted on the back of the roll cage. And I think aside from that, I have a little bit more recovery gear that I have back in here in a box. Otherwise, I think that is everything on this Jeep as of right now. So appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Later, guys.